All right, welcome back to another Koenji-san Reviews The Manga Show, episode 11. And I was lucky enough this week to go to the Berserk exhibition at Matsuya Ginza, running from September 21st to October 4th. Very short run, just a 2-week run of this exhibition. But before we see the exhibition, where I was able to take some photos at the little photo corners they had set up and a couple sneaky little videos, let's take a look at what I got while I was over there. I know sometimes watching those event videos, they're going from slow motion to regular speed so that I can show everything, can make some viewers a little bit dizzy and discombobulated. So I thought I'd show you what I got first, and then we will get into the exhibition. There was so much stuff for sale as far as merch goes. A lot of it was really expensive. They had some real Gengas there, some real original panels there that were running $3,000 to $4,000, but you had to sign up for a lottery to get any of them. They had some original artwork there as well, like original Miura paintings. Those are running from around $6,000 to $9,000 depending on the image, depending on the painting, the size, the materials that were used. And obviously I didn't spend $3,000 on this. They had a bunch of prints. This is just a print. So I got this Guts print. Of course, I like it bloody and wild. So this was the bloodiest, wildest, and sexiest of all the prints that they had there. So I grabbed this for a special place on my wall. I also got this pillow, the Bandit amulet or stone. I watched the anime only in Japanese, and I'm reading Berserk. I just started reading Berserk last year. I've only read the first probably 50 chapters or so. I got the Konbini set. Konbini set, I don't know how many chapters are in one book. I'd say there's about 9 or so. And I don't have the full set, but I have a bunch of tankobons around and stuff as well. But I thought this would look sick in the studio. Yeah. And these are the postcards from the event. Here's my little ticket stub. 1,700 yen. I was like, man, that's a little bit expensive. I went with one of the homies from our Discord group, Koenji-san Reviews, and we went over there, and I was like, 1,700 yen is a little bit obviously I was going to go in, but I was like, it's a little bit expensive for an exhibition, for a tenjikai, but it took us 90 minutes to make it through it. It was all original panels, original artwork. There were a few things, I think, in the cover section, the covers of the re-release from in the mid 2000s, or no, maybe around 2012 they did that re-release. Those covers I think were prints, but everything else was original artwork. Got this as well, this postcard. Pretty cool. And I got a couple copies of the artwork of Berserk. Of course, this was going for outrageous prices online. I saw anywhere from $150 to $300. That is why I have not bought a copy until now, but they did a reprint finally. So I was able to get a couple copies of this. I just checked eBay online, American eBay online, and people are dumping them already for around $90 to $100 to $120 each. So my extra copy, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna hold on to it for a while, because there's gonna be lots of copies out there. That dictates the market price. And, for all I fucking care, I could hold on to this for like 2 copies for 10 years. Watch me, I'll do it. But let's take a look at it. I unwrapped this one already. This is just the barcode from the wrapper, from the shrink wrap. The excuse I was making earlier is I've only read and watched Berserk in Japanese, so sometimes I screw up the English pronunciation, which is weird. I know, it sounds weird. I'm a native English speaker. But this is a beautiful book. Always wanted it. I do have some other Berserk books though. Of course, The Birth of Guts. Well, the post-birth, I should say. The Death of Aniki. Just means older brother, people. They do put in the corners down here, they put the title of each piece. So it's really hard to see here, but I wish they'd done it in English as well. Of course people overseas want to pick up these books. And it's not that hard, man. I mean, it's very teeny. Griffith. So this in person was so rad. Very cool. Of course, at the art show, they had places where you could take photos, but you couldn't take photos or videos of the actual artwork. So I don't have any close-ups of artwork, but I do have kind of wide shots and stuff like that. So you'll see what I was able to take photos of. And it gives us the reference. This is from the anime DVD. It gives us also the materials. This is acrylic on canvas. So it was really cool. There was so many different media types, whether they were Genga original panels, whether they were canvas paintings, whether they were painted with fure brush, like Japanese style calligraphy, just pen and ink. There was a little bit of everything. There were figures, there were large scale statues, full scale models. There was a lot of wild stuff. And a lot of the images in here, I was able to see the originals of like this at the event. To be honest, almost every image that we've seen so far in here, they had the original of up at the event. So hardcore. This is from Berserk illustrations file, which I have. Maybe I'll bust it out here at the end of this video and just do a quick flip through of that as well. There's actually a lot of images from the Berserk illustrations file. Everyone loves Casca. How can you not? This, you kind of see it in the video, but they had scale models of the 100 faces, the Hyakumen, I think is what the original painting was called. They had some crazy sculptures, but again, you were not allowed to video or take photos in those sections. Looking at the original artwork, the line detail is amazing. Use of screen tone, amazing use of screen tone, and then doing whiteout, scraping, drawing over the screen tone, amazing. I always wondered, I was talking about this with my friend that went with me, if these scenes ended up in the American release of the manga, because they're pretty juicy, dude. Pretty juicy. Sorry, hay fever season. I'm dying over here. This in person was amazing. Guts with just the calligraphy brush, the traditional Japanese calligraphy brush was, I mean, I don't know what kind of brush was used, to be honest, but that's what it reminds me of. Very Shodo-esque. This in person was wild. Wild. Black Knight is the name of that in English. And people that know me know that I put off buying Berserk and starting to read it for years and years and years. Kind of read it a little bit here, a little bit there. Of course, I'd seen both of the anime releases, but it's such a daunting series if you haven't started it. If I be at like a ramen shop or something, and that's the print that I got, and there was a tankobon under the counter, then I'd pick it up and kind of flip through it, read it. But long series can be daunting when you have a huge collection of stuff to read already, which I do. But I broke down and it does not disappoint. Acrylic poster. 1998 calendar. I do like the references. It helps, especially for a layman like me. I know that there's some of you out there that know Berserk better than you know the back of your hand. So if you have something to add, please pop it in the comments down below. I will be the first to admit I know more about 1960s Japanese horror than I do about Berserk. But it does not mean it's not rad, and it does not mean I did not enjoy the exhibition. Hell yeah. The one good thing about the Art of Berserk exhibition was that almost everything shown I had read up through. So, you know, like all the Golden Age stuff and everything. So I actually knew what was going on. Whereas when you get up into the tankobon 20s, I haven't quite made it there yet. And you guys know how the anime are. The anime are a little bit discombobulated, to say the least. Which at some point after I finish up through volume 41, I am going to have to go back and rewatch those anime, just for reference. Zod on the left there. That is sick. Wouldn't that be like just a rad tattoo on your knee? Maybe not on your knee, maybe on my knee. The homie I went with is a tattoo artist, and we were talking about this too. Would be pretty sick holding the clubs for a tattoo. This looks like a Balinese mask, kind of. This looks like some sort of elephant kraken. Elephant, but Zod. There was a really cute, which you'll see in the video, a really cute diorama of the Sprite Village. So it wasn't all blood and guts, but there was a lot of this. asses and legs in a tunnel. Tunnel of asses and legs. Wild. So like I was saying, the original artwork was really spendy, the color stuff like that. They didn't have everything for sale, but they did have a few. And then they had a couple things that looked like limited edition prints. So they're reproductions, but very high quality reproductions of the canvas art that, because of course because Miura passed away, then they're definitely hoarding most of the original art and just selling off some of it to promote the exhibition, because there's people that go to these things specifically just for original art, like I did with the Mary Art Gallery manga, like horror mangaka exhibition. Then like I was specifically there to pick up original art. There's a lot of people at these events that go just to pick up original art, or sometimes pick up like 10 books to dump, which is kind of screwed. I didn't do that. I just picked up 2. Regret not picking up a 3rd, but I saw a couple sellers online had like 10 for sale. I'm like, most of the time at these exhibitions, they limit it to 3 per person to cut down on the scalping, but not at Berserk. They are going for the cash. And we get the volume and year. So volume 1196, volume 12. And these were the ones that when, I don't remember if these were original pieces or if they were prints. I think they were high quality prints of the covers from the re-release. But I don't know, again, I could be talking shit right now for all I know. I am only going off of what I remember written on the walls at the exhibition, and that is the art of Berserk from the 2022 September, October, the artwork of Berserk exhibition. Pretty rad. All right, now let's take a look at the video I tried to paste together of the exhibition. All right, we're over here at the artwork of Berserk exhibition at Matsuya Ginza. Came over here with a friend. The entrance here, you were allowed to film, but most of the exhibition, you were not allowed to film. You're not allowed to take pictures or film any of the original panels or original artwork like I'm doing right here, but I did get a few sneaky pics here and there. And you were able to take photos of the figures and dioramas, and they had some photo stations. This front part is just all of the main character profiles, and then they have the exhibition set up. Each kind of hallway or room is a chapter. So of course it's starting off with the Ogon, the golden era, and then moving forward chapter by chapter, volume by volume. That's pretty sick. Griffith. It was a little bit expensive for tickets, 1,700 yen per ticket, which comes out to about around $15 US, but it did take us an hour and 20 minutes to casually walk through the exhibition. So if you think about it like a movie, it's about a movie ticket in price, and you get about that much time of, enjoyment. And yeah, they had all these really detailed figures that you are allowed to take videos and photos of. Zod. Entrails. Yeah, pretty sick. So what I basically did was I take a video of some figures and then kind of pan away and try to get some of the exhibition, but I could only get what I could get. They did have original panels and original paintings for sale. The paintings were going for between $6,000 and $9,000 if I remember correctly. And the panels were all lottery only. So you had to sign up for a lottery to be able to buy any of the panels. The panels were ranging between around, I want to say around $3,000 for most of the panels that they had. So of course I wasn't buying any original stuff, and I didn't enter any of the lotteries, but you can see here kind of how the exhibition was organized. Lots of guts, everything, guts figures, guts paintings. And there was a wide variety of different kinds of artwork. There was paintings, there was original panels, there was pen and inks, there was calligraphy brushed drawings, a little bit of everything. That's dope. I wish I could have gone up and got a picture of me trying to pull out the sword, but obviously, you know, they're really strict. And there's staff everywhere inside the exhibition making sure people weren't taking pictures or weren't taking videos. And that was their sole job, was just to kind of keep an eye on everyone. So it was pretty tough for me to get some sneaky vids, but I did get some for you, as you can see. This is huge. Check out the scale of that. And it was pretty crowded. One thing that I liked was there was a huge age range of people there. Young people, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s. So you can see that Berserk, starting in the 90s and, you know, continuing so long, now being restarted, has touched so many people's lives. I noticed that, you know, in Western manga events, you kind of have your, you know, demographic of people that go to them. So it's interesting when I go to like the Mizuki Shigeru or Berserk or Ghibli exhibitions here in Japan that you see a wide variety of people at them, which is, it's interesting. The contrast between the two cultures as far as manga and manga art goes is quite different. And yeah, this was the artwork of Berserk show. As I mentioned earlier, I'll show a little bit more Berserk stuff that I have in my collection here in a moment. And yeah, if you're in Tokyo, it's running until I think October 4th. Get on over there. So that was the artwork of Berserk exhibition held at Matsuya Ginza. And as I mentioned before, I had a couple other Berserk things hanging around. This is the special edition. It says Drama CD, but it's a DVD. The special edition volume 41 that was released last year, around the time that Miura passed away. I guess the English translation of this is going to be officially released in November of this year. So I actually have about 3 of these I have up for sale, but they're kind of something I thought I would buy, hang on to for a few years, because these were the limited edition ones, while just the tankobon itself was sold also. But I like these deluxe editions. They look pretty cool. I got a few of those, and just for reference, this is what a Konbiniban volume looks like, the convenience store editions, right? Usually cheaper quality, but they're packed full of chapters. This is episode 1, and yeah, this is from the Gekijo anime adaptation, sorry. So this is one of the versions available out there that I have. And as I mentioned, I also have Berserk illustrations files. This was released originally in 1997, and I think there is about 6 reprints of it. Well, 5 reprints, 6 in total until 2001. And as you can see in here, there's a lot of the same pieces of artworks that we saw in the artwork of Berserk. But this is pretty rad as well. Hate to plug it, but this is also for sale up on japanbookhunter.com. There we go. There's that Black Knight, glare, Black Knight image again. Proper lighting and glare minimization is always a struggle, my friends. But what this book has that the artwork of Berserk does not have, which we will get to here soon, is character profiles, some behind the scenes stuff, an interview with Miura. Of course, every Berserk book should have that image in it of their return from the campaign. And yeah, this is the world guide to Berserk, so you get details about the world, about the birth of Guts, some of the battles, a little bit of backstory, some commentary. It's pretty cool. I know it's difficult if you don't read Japanese, but nowadays you can kind of get the gist of it with Google Lens, I hear. I have never, well, obviously never needed to use it myself. Some cool shit there. Love that. I saw that piece at the art show, at the exhibition. And some of these we saw in the other book. And we also get the history of Berserk, which is rad. And yeah, I just thought I'd show you a little bit of the difference between the artwork of Berserk and Berserk Illustrations file. And here we have the long interview. It was really cool. At the exhibition, they had Miura's desk set up. And to be honest, it kind of looked like this. I hope that it pops up in the video, but I'm not too sure if, it's harder. It's such a big exhibition. I can't remember exactly what got in there and what didn't. I shall be doing some editing tonight though. And then we have the Atogaki, or the afterword, and biography, the Sakuhin list, the list of releases by Miura. And finally, we have this rad fold-out poster. And it would not be a Berserk poster without Guts. All right, people, let's move on. All right, instead of putting an annoying commercial for my Patreon in the middle of this video here on YouTube, I thought I'd just post this on both. This is something that I would probably go through on my Patreon page, but I think we can get away with it here on YouTube. Of course, Patreon is where I post all of my wild, salacious, and sexy, ultra graphic, and otherwise cannot be posted here on YouTube, reviews and flip throughs and stuff like that. So let's take a look at this. This is Sekushi Kaiju Tai fighting Marada, or the sexy kaiju versus the fighting Marada. This was just re-released recently. This is a re-release of some old stuff that is very much like the Bonten Taro stuff that I've gone over before. Stuff like this. The Child Raised by Pigs. These are all by Nagisa Pro or by Bonten Taro Gekigakai, or Gekiga Association. Shameless Bastards of the Night, and the Living Murderous Demon Head, or something like that. I forget how I translated it before. But this is fun. Of course, there's kaiju, and there's some sexy stuff in here. These are all written by this Kondo Ken and illustrated by mostly Shimataki, I don't know, Futa maybe. The names, I tried to Google all of the artists, the mangaka, and I couldn't find any information on them. This is probably Enokimoto Aria. But again, I tried to look and I could not find anything. There are 4 stories in here. This is the first one. It is about a panty thief monster. So I read all of these over the last couple of days, but let me see if I can do my best to go through and kind of explain some of them. So basically what happens is thousands and tens of thousands of ladies' panties are stolen from their drying lines. The ladies are out in protest. They think it's a conspiracy. by the panty manufacturers to make them buy more panties, but actually it was from nuclear testing in the Pacific Ocean that led to this panty thieving monster coming out of the sea, which was, I think, previously Salamander Dude. So in the beginning, he's just stealing from people's laundry lines, but then he's stolen so many, he wants to get a taste for soiled panties. So this lady, this is Junko. She's gonna show up in all of the stories. Sorry for moving around so much. She works for Professor Tada. Tada means cod, like a codfish. And look it, so he gets the panties and does a little fondling. When they find her in the morning, she's alive, but she has a tentacle wrapped around her, which Professor Tada studies, and that's how he discovers the origin of our panty thieving kaiju. Now the kaiju is going around. So first of all, now women stop wearing panties, and because they stop wearing panties, molestation and attacks on women increase by all these perverts out in the street. Anyways, kaiju, panty thieving kaiju is going to do panty thieving kaiju thing. So he's breaking into women's houses. None of the women are wearing panties anymore, but they do wear bathing suits, and they do wear, I don't know, panties inside hotel rooms and shit. I don't know. And so, anyways, he's still finding women to prey on. So Professor Tada Hakase, he develops this panty liner kaiju, which he is going to use to defeat this pervy panty thieving kaiju. So what he's doing is he sends out an army of women with these special panty liners on, but the panty liners are injected with the panty kaiju. As the panty kaiju, I don't know, he grows and grows and grows, and the panty liner kaiju, and he battles the panty thieving kaiju, which is defeated by the panty liner kaiju. And at the end, this little gag where then the panty liner kaiju is put back into his case, like a tissue case. All right, that's the first one. This one is King Manga versus Fighting Marada. So King Manga fighting Marada. These dudes are attacking this lady at night and trying to get some free sexy time. And then, let's see, they hear something rustling in the bushes, za, 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 za. And the giant Mongol, what's his name? Giant Mongol? King Mongol comes out and eats the shit out of those dudes. So King Mongol only attacks men, never attacks women. So then he flies off with his big old mouth. Of course, Professor Tada has some theories about it. He's doing a little bit of study. And he decides, so they send the Air Force after him, the military, they can't defeat him. So Professor Tada creates this, which is Fighting Marada. Fighting Marada battles with King Mongol. Jumps into its mouth with its missile head. Exploding out of it and defeating King Mongol. All right, number 3. Vietnam Kaiju Gomura This one's wild too. All of these are wild. Anyways, this weird kaiju. So the American military on leave from Vietnam spend time in Yokohama where they visit brothels, and this one dude is visiting this lady of the night at a brothel, but he has carried back a disease from Vietnam. The disease is one that is attracted to rubber. So it pops off his ween and into the condom, runs off with a little condom hat on there, and all hell's gonna break loose from here. There we go. Om nom 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 nom. Musha musha musha. So I'm trying to recall what I read. The military, the MPs, the military police go after him. They're trying to catch him, but he just keeps on showing up at brothels, devouring condoms. Then nurses at the hospital. Pretty much anywhere someone's doing it and using a condom, this little dude is showing up. Now he's grown in size. He attacks the condom factory in Yokohama, killing masses of people and growing in size. Now the military really can't take him down, so Professor Tada has to step in, and Professor Tada creates Fighting Marada number 2. Number 2, you can see he's got 2 arms instead of 6, unlike the previous Fighting Madara. They put a big condom on him, and Fighting Madara shoots himself into the mouth of this condom-eating monster. And when it does, it opens up a giant mouth of its own, devouring the rubber-sucking kaiju. And the last one we have here is Debagamera to Petigon. This is the battle between the 2 of them. So there's not between the 2 of them. That's the 2 of them there. There's 2 bad guys in this one. So at Professor Tada's research facility, this guy works for him this is Hiru. Yeah, I forget. Hill. Professor Hill. And Professor Hill is a real creeper. He kind of looks like the Joker. See? He's a real creeper. He's a sadist. And he's set on creating monsters to terrorize the women. And specifically, he wants our heroine of the story, Junko. So he creates these monsters. This one attacks women in toilets or bathrooms and bathhouses. And this one uses its many hands and giant tongue to fondle women. Wild kaiju. And Professor Hill over here is plotting his attack on Junko. Junko's got bodyguards, but of course the bodyguards can't go into the bathroom when she's taking a shower. But Professor Hill thought about this. That's why he created the bathroom kaiju. She's checking herself out in the mirror when bathroom kaiju comes and busts through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man and takes her away. After taking her away, he brings her to Professor Hill, who sicks the Petigon, with his many hands and big tongue on her. Then, has to chain her up, and we can imagine, but Professor Tada's not having any of this. He still has the awesome Fighting Marada number 2, which he sends after. So how does he know where they're at? Well, he takes Junko's panties that were left behind and fighting Marada, analyzes them. I was going to say sniffs them, but I don't think he has a nose. Analyzes them and tracks down the Tokyo Suburban Research Facility of Professor Hill, where he has captured Junko and is sicking his kaiju on her. And then she is saved. The kaiju are defeated. I wish there was more kaiju battling, to be honest, but I mean, this is weird, right? I'm imagining this is from probably 1960, right around there, by the style and by the era and by Bontentaro stuff. Definitely early 60s. And Professor Hill escapes, but he, on the white-skinned back of Junko, he leaves a message that says, "I shall remember this and I will get revenge." Professor Hill. And he was nice enough to say it, "Hiru Hakase Yori," from Professor Hill. And that, my fine friends, the back cover, is Sekushi Kaiju Tai Fighting Marada. All right, if you want to see more stuff like this, go over to my Patreon page, Koenji-san Reviews. And of course, I sell wild stuff at my bookstore, japanbookhunter.com. So check that out as well. All right, now let's take a look at my manga and art book haul for this episode. First of all, this is the newest release by Sakabashira Imiri. Of course, Sakabashira Imiri did some manga in the past, like Akatites. Akatites is fun. So you can see the style here. It's a little bit Heita Uma, very fantastical. Lots of monsters and kaiju and different things like that. I also have Nodo no Mero, the Throat Maze, Sora no Makikai, and Hataraku Kappa, the working kappa. So I'm not going to go through all of these, of course, because, well, I've gone through them in previous various videos over the years. So, but this is not a manga. This is a 4-color risograph printing of this encyclopedia of kaiju. It's really sick. It came in this little envelope. Low press, probably pressed by himself. It said at the shop how many they did, and I want to say it was 800 or 1200, something like that. Some of you might know Sakabashira Imiri because he's quite famous for his Softbee toys. Look at that. Really quick. And he does paintings, artwork, he makes Softbee, and he also, and these are, I actually saw these in person at Takoshe maybe late last year, early this year. They did an art show for Sakabashira, and at that time they had a bunch of these pieces of artwork displayed on the wall. All of them, I believe, were the same price, around $600 each. I was very tempted to buy, but I was just, kind of starting out with the book biz, planning it at least, and I was trying to stock up on books, not artwork. Although I did do some of that too. But the risograph printing is just so cool. It looks so cool. I only picked up one of these, but I think I'm going to go back and get a couple more because while they're expensive, they're super high quality and they're pretty rare. They're going to disappear. And when they do, they're going to be expensive to get again. Sometimes rather than buying something to flip right away, it's good to buy stuff to just sit on. Plus, it's a pretty dope thing to have in your library. Yeah, cool. Let's get to a battle. So these are all standard, but I like that. Just chilling out in the parking lot. I think there was one battle. Maybe. Those are pretty cool. Wouldn't it be cool to have original art? Maybe not. I was mistaken. So that was the Sakabashira Imiri illustration book. Since I'm talking about illustrations, I got this too. Ebisu Yoshikazu? No. Matsuya Koichi. Momoiro Kaho, maybe? I don't know. I didn't even... Oh. Junpo. Not Z, it's actually a J, but whatever. This is rad. Oh. Signed 41 out of 100. Pretty cool. And yes, it looks a bit like Ebisu, and Matsuda was probably heavily influenced by Ebisu, but this is not Ebisu. Look at this stuff. Attack of the Hamburger! It's wild, right? Also, was not really cheap for the size, but man, it's like a combination of Ebisu, Toshio Saeki, weird 1980s pop art. Teppanyaki. Lots of food. Wow, looks cool, right? My favorite is the gamers. It's wild, huh? Ironing faces. Oh, this one. I like this one a lot. They're all gaming. Gaming a pile of trash. Electronics trash. Anyways, that is Matsuda Koichi. I'm going to try to track down some more of this fine artist's illustrations or information or something, and I might be back with, you know, some more details on him, but, you know, I don't know. Just ran across them randomly, and I regret not buying an original piece of art. They had some original like sketches and stuff up. Man, I regret not buying them. I gotta take a look at this postcard. I might be able to get something. And just write what you want. Yeah, this is pretty cool. It came with, yeah, this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but it still looked dope in the package. Let's keep on going, my friends. We'll flip it up to some manga. I started reading, so Brothers is a 9-volume series by Kano Seisaku and Koike Kazuo. Of course, Koike Kazuo and Kano Seisaku. I'm a huge fan, big collector. You people know this. I've probably showed this before, but I just started reading the series today. So I thought I would just kind of go through the first chapter that I read so far today. It is so fun. Man, it is wild. A little bit of foxing there, but that never hurt a good story. So, Brothers. The first volume is called Gamble. If you don't know the backstory to Brothers, that would be even better, because just wait. Oh yeah, they are quote unquote brothers. And they end up in, so I'm imagining they're in, I don't know, Chicago or New York. Most of the time, the Japanese mangaka, when they set something in America, in like kind of a urban area, it'll be New York. And there's no shortage of Koike or Kano Seisaku doing that. These gangsters are wondering what the hell they're doing there. They said, "We are here to meet your boss." They pull a knife on him. He flashes his Uzi, of course, and then takes one of the dude's hats, throws it in the air, and shoots it to bits. So they know they mean business. Then he pulls out a grenade just to let him know He means business. Then they go in to talk to the boss, and they throw a dead lady on the desk, saying that your brother raped and killed this woman, and his sister wants $10,000 in cash right now for retribution. Of course, the gangsters aren't having it, so they pull out a gun and shoot his brother in the fucking face. Look at that, right in the eye and in the chest a couple times. He's all proud of himself. He shrugs it off, pulls out his eye, puts it back in, and it's Hulk time, baby. Look at that. Rippery. So, yeah, then he gets bummed, he's showing off his muscles, of course, I think this is 87. So, I think there's a bit of a Arnold, pumping iron kind of thing going on. I mean, I know pumping iron was before that, but still, bodybuilding was a big thing in the 80s. Looking jacked. So he fucks all these dudes up, of course. And then the brother explains that the younger brother explains that, or maybe he's the older brother, explains my brother is an HEM, Homo Electromechanics. He's a robot. Then this dude, the boss of this gang, he sends in his muscle. Just this badass lady. And they go out into the street to settle their differences. She's pretty tough, but she bites off his ear, part of his ear. And then he's not having that, so he kicks her in the cooch. This is what I sound like on my Patreon videos, people. Sorry. And instead of killing her, he spares her. The guy's like, I'll give you your 10 grand. I'll give you your 10 grand. He gives him a briefcase full of money. Look at this. Walking out, he bangs the dead body's head on the door and breaks the neck. And then he's like, did my brother really do that? Really rape that and kill that woman? And he's like, yep. But now we're like, really? So, are they con men? Are they the real deal? Are they real detectives or private investigators? I don't know. I just started it, but dang, it's fun. So, there's the 3-volume set by Ijima Shiro, married to a gorilla. I have them right around here somewhere. If I see them. Not too sure. They're around here somewhere. Oh, here they are. I could have pulled these out before, but I've profiled these before. The 3-volume set was really successful. Released by Pure. 3 volumes. Married to a gorilla. The living human plants or something like that. And the Booby Fear, we'll call it in this one. Anyways, these are insanely good. They're insane. They are wild. Everything about them is wild. And they did put out a new release recently, which is Alcohol of Death, Shino Arukoru. And I haven't read this yet, so I'm not going to flip through it too much because I don't want to spoil it for myself. But again, these are from Gendai Braku. Gendai Comic. These are all Gendai Comic. I'm confusing with these Manga Black Punch, which are impossible to find. But Ijima contributed a lot to that, and then Gendai Comic, sorry, conflating the two, also contributed a lot, and that's where these stories come from. So Alcohol of Death. Again, we have his amazing artwork. Neko wa miteta. The Cat Saw. So he does a lot of mystery, sci-fi, sexy stuff, murder, and it is wild, always wild. And let's skip ahead a minute because I don't want to give away the ending. This is Alcohol of Death. This splash across the first page is awesome. Just laying in the booze. I know the feeling, dude. He's supposed to be doing his artwork or drafting. But instead, he's just getting wasted. To the chagrin of his coworkers. There's our cover. Anyways, I'm not going to get into these too much, but look at that shit. So wild. Are they pumping booze into him? Looks like it. From a little toy fire truck. Sick. I wish my kids would do that for me. All right, I don't want to give any more away, but that is some Ijima Shiro. All right, let's look at some tokusatsu that I got. I've been getting a lot of tokusatsu stuff this year, as I mentioned before in the past. I don't know if I went through any of these. I don't think I did. But this one I definitely didn't. Because I just got this in Jimbocho recently. This is amazing kaiju stuff. I haven't checked the year yet. But we do have the author, Minamimura, in the back here. I got this at one of the newer manga shops in Jimbocho called Nagashima. They're open erratically. A couple times I went and they weren't open. The lady even gave me their card, said, you can call ahead if you want and see if we're going to be open. But I always feel kind of weird doing that. Plus there's other shops in Jimbocho that I frequent as well. So that's whatever. But they had this and it is awesome. It focuses on kaiju, but we do have some heroes in here too, like Ultraman. An explanation about the kaiju boom. Look at that. Taking out the airplane. Airplane trying to take him out. Shooting, is that water? I don't think squirting some water on a giant rival kaiju is gonna hurt him that much. I think shooting laser beams in its face might. These are cool, right? King Ghidorah looking mofo. I'm not gonna go through all of them. The ones that focus on the human. So here it switches from kaiju to yokai. So now we got the yokai Zukan, or Daizukan, the big encyclopedia of yokai, and we get all these rad yokai pictures. Some sort of Shira Yukihime. An Oni up here in the corner. Tengu. This could be the Nagaure Baba. Sometimes she's in a well, sometimes she's in a pond, sometimes she's in the ocean, but she always has long arms. reaching out to grab children. Of course, folklore too. Keep kids away from the water. Kappa, of course. Then we have some Western monsters. Medusa, Frankenstein's monster, a witch. Man, these are so good. I can't even stop. And then we get into some more kaiju stuff. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I might not even go through all these other ones. I need to do some reading up on Minamimura Takashi. Rad book. I got this from 1960, I believe. No. 1962. 1962. This is the All Kaiju Photo Dictionary or Encyclopedia. We have Godzilla versus Hedorah on the cover here. Just amazing. Just amazing, dude. This one's pretty expensive. It's for sale. I actually have it for sale. There's a place called Gojira and Gojira 2 here in Koenji. They sell toys. The old guy there sells toys. I always forget his name. And he has a tokusatsu section. He has a manga magazine section. So sometimes I go over there and buy stuff from him. I went over. Very nice old man and spent $250 instantly. But for this, it is worth it. Well, I didn't spend $250 on just this. I bought some other stuff too. Some stuff I've sold already. Some stuff, as you see, I'm still holding on to. Baby Godzilla. Look at that. Godzilla's Zukai. The dissection of Godzilla. And Gabara. I'm just a sucker for these cutaways. Kumonga, the Kumo or spider kaiju. And then lots of pictures, weird collages. Some offcuts. I don't know what you call them, behind the scenes shots from productions. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Ebira. Ebira, ebi means shrimp, so it's obviously a shrimp monster. I'll spare you too much more tokusatsu stuff, but I also got this set of 3, and these similarly. These ones are more Ultraman focused, not just Kaiju focused, but they have lots of Kaiju in them, lots of Ultraman, lots of crazy battles. These were made for kids back in 60. They put out 3. They were never reprinted, so these are, oh, look at that, so rad. These are first edition, only editions. Will never be seen again. And I'm pretty sure that, that it was 1961. 1961, so I was pretty close there. Let's look at something that is not manga and not tokusatsu. Ito. I'm trying to remember Ayu. I was trying to remember how to pronounce his name. It's a really weird reading. Sorry, Seiyu. Seiyu. Like ame no u. So sorry about that. I like to get it right when I can. I found this at my local here in Koenji. She had run across a big batch of Ito stuff. Ito is, he does traditional ukiyo-e style art and shoji style, what do you call it? Kind of the wall painting style art, reminiscent of the Meiji and Edo periods. But he does it under the theme of bondage, S&M, stuff like that. So it's a little bit sexy, but it's really traditionally done. He also did a lot of photographs. What am I saying? Photography? Blah. Fucking, he did a lot of, shibari stuff, tied up people, usually tied up women. And there's the dude here. I don't know if that's his wife, his muse. I have no idea. I haven't read this yet, but the artwork is amazing. I'll actually sell this for probably, I don't know, it's about $100 book. Maybe a bit more. It's also, if you see here, this is pretty important. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's stitch bound. Huh. It's really hard to see in this light. But it's stitched at any rate. The binding is stitched. And wow. Amazing and wild artwork. I don't even want to say, I'd say in the past or at times that like Ito Hikozo, I would say, who's a different artist that did a lot of kind of samurai type like fight scenes or samurais on horseback in war, but he also did some kind of sexy stuff as well, and geisha stuff. But his stuff is kind of, you can almost call it illustrations, like it's in an illustration style, but I want to call this all fine art. I mean, it's just amazing. Some of it is ukiyo-e, some of it is brush, some of it is sketched. All of it is insane. Some explanations, some of his early sketch work, weird contraptions for tying and bondage and such. And then the photo section, which I'm going to skip because most of it includes nudity, but look at that. Sitting Seiza with all these bricks on her legs, tied to a post. It's insane, dude. So let's skip the photography and look at a little bit more of the art. Pretty cool stuff. So I actually got this. I also got a really old magazine, Gao Fuzoku Kitan, which includes a lot of this Ito Seiyu's works. And yeah, there's some more books over here, but I'd like to get the ones with lots of illustrations because I'm dumb and I don't want to read too much. And also a lot of people that I do sell to can't read, of course, Japanese, so they prefer having the art than tons of text. But God, there's some other good books there too. Wild stuff. And that, my fine friends, is some of the books that I picked up recently, and I got a bunch more around. To be honest, I'm a little bit, I'm all set up in the new studio, but I don't exactly know where everything is yet. I haven't quite got used to it, so I just kind of pulled out some stuff that I hadn't shown yet in my previous episodes. And thanks to everyone who's on our Patreon page, Koenji-shan Reviews, or in our Discord. Just hop in the Discord, Koenji-shan Reviews. There's an invite there in the banner, a link right there in the banner for both. And everyone who supports my book selling biz japanbookhunter.com. Head on over there and check out some of my books, but most of my stuff ends up only on Instagram. I post on Instagram first. If it doesn't sell, then later, maybe a week or two later, I'll post on the website. But a lot of times it sells in that time, so go over to my Instagram page, Japan Book Hunter. And until next time, my fine friends, mate ne.